Hello everyone. Today is December 5th, 2025, and here's the news that you can use. Today's lineup is all about control. Control over who can buy the most advanced AI chips. Control over whether AI can act like a boss at work. Control over which platforms become the identity brain for your agents. And in the background, control over federal modernization funding, over your hypervisors, and over clinical systems that handle nuclear medicine. The headlines look different, but the theme's the same. The biggest risks are sitting right where policy, infrastructure, and automation all collide. We'll start with the Safe Chips Act, a bipartisan bill that would lock in strict export curbs on advanced AI chips going to China and other adversaries for the next 30 months. Senators behind the bill want to stop the administration from relaxing existing rules and would force the Commerce Department to deny licenses for chips that are more advanced than what's already allowed to ship. After that window, Commerce would have to notify Congress before changing the guardrails. For CIOs and CTOs, this isn't just foreign policy noise. It shapes real supply questions around accelerators, from delivery timelines and pricing to which models you can realistically plan to run. If your AI roadmap assumes a steady stream of top-tier GPUs or custom silicon, now's the time to stress test multi-vendor strategies and regional diversification. Turning to the workplace, the No Robot Bosses Act is back on the table in Congress. The bill targets AI and automated systems that hire, schedule, monitor, and discipline workers. Sponsors argue that today's tools can embed discrimination and opaque decision-making with very little recourse for employees. They want new protections for job applicants and workers when AI's in the loop, along with more transparency around how automated systems make and explain decisions. For CIOs, Chief Human Resources Officers, and General Counsel, this is an early preview of how regulators are going to treat workplace AI. If you're using automated screening, productivity tracking, or algorithmic scheduling, expect tough questions about bias testing, documentation, and appeal processes. A smart first move is to inventory where these tools are in production and confirm that someone's explicitly accountable for their governance. In platform news, ServiceNow signed a definitive agreement to acquire Veza, an AI-native identity security company, in a deal widely reported at about $1 billion. Veza built its value around an access graph that maps who and what has access across applications, data stores, and cloud platforms, including AI agents and service identities. By pulling that into the ServiceNow security and operations stack, the company's betting that identity will become the control plane for agentic AI. For CIOs and CISO leaders, this is a clear market signal. Over the next few years, you can expect consolidation around platforms that give you one place to reason about human, machine, and agent access. Now's the time to ask whether your current identity architecture can answer simple questions like which agents can touch production data or kick off sensitive workflows. Staying in Washington, Senators Jerry Moran and Gary Peters have reintroduced the Modernizing Government Technology Reform Act to extend the Technology Modernization Fund through 2032. Earlier conversations focused on whether the TMF would even survive the next few weeks. This bill is about giving agencies a longer runway to tackle big, ugly modernization problems. It would prioritize funding for long-term IT and cybersecurity projects instead of just quick wins. For federal CIOs and integrators, that really matters. It means you can design multi-year moves to retire critical legacy systems, roll out zero-trust architectures, or stand up shared AI services with a realistic financing model. Executives should watch how this bill moves and, in parallel, line up business cases that fit a TMF-style approach if and when the authority's extended. Now let's talk about cyber operations, where a new joint advisory from CISA, the National Security Agency, and the Canadian Centre for Cybersecurity highlights the Brickstorm malware. This is a People's Republic of China link backdoor that targets VMware vSphere and Windows environments to gain long-term persistence. In one documented case, the actors maintained access from April 2024 through September 2025. They use that foothold to steal credentials, move laterally, and potentially position themselves for sabotage. The lesson for CIOs, CISO leaders, and infrastructure heads is blunt. Your hypervisor and management stack aren't just plumbing anymore. They're frontline targets. You need hardened configurations, strong separation between management and tenant networks, deep logging around vCenter and hypervisor activity, and detection content tuned for this class of threat. Ask your teams what would happen if an attacker owned the virtualization layer and whether your incident playbooks are ready for that scenario. Finally, in healthcare and operational technology, CISA's published a medical ICS advisory for Mirion's EC2NMIS biodose software, which is used to track nuclear medicine doses and related workflows. The advisory describes several high-severity vulnerabilities. An attacker who reaches these systems could modify program executables, access sensitive patient or dose information, or potentially execute arbitrary code. For healthcare CIOs, CISO leaders, and clinical engineering teams, this is another reminder that clinical software and medical OT belong on your main cyber risk agenda. These platforms sit close to both patients and regulated materials, yet they often fall into gaps between IT, biomed, and vendor responsibility. Fixing that exposure means building a real inventory, demanding software bills of materials and patch commitments from vendors, and making sure segmentation and monitoring extend all the way into the clinical environment. Leaving them off your primary risk register isn't defensible anymore. That's the exchange for today. Remember, inspect what you expect. If you're interested in sponsoring this newscast or want to know how to get a call out for your organization, contact podcasts@matorasolutions.com. That's podcasts with an S at matorasolutions.com. That's it for this week. Remember, on Monday, in addition to the daily update, we'll be publishing the Exchange Weekly newsletter, an in-depth review of the previous week's major news and events. Through December, the Exchange Weekly newsletter is free for those that subscribe. So, look for the Exchange Weekly after your weekend. Click and subscribe to ensure you get the details of the top news items of the week. And as a reminder, the Exchange Daily is free and published Monday through Friday. Thank you for listening and have a great weekend.